Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Elizabeth. I am a medium, divine channeler, remote spirit extractor, white witch, and divine alchemist, and I also happen to be a divine feminine on the path of ascension. Well, for those of you who have followed me before, it's back. Leave a comment below if you know what I mean. The spirit chair, the spirit chair. Does anyone remember the spirit chair? It's from my other videos. And due to the move, and then COVID came, and then we had to, stop some of the things that we were planning to do with the house, and things were in storage. It just got a little bit of craziness going on. But the chair is back, and I'm so glad. And for those of you who don't know the spirit chair, there's nothing creepy about it. It just has a really significant meaning to me. When I lived in Florida, my spirit guide wanted me to visit an antique shop. I've been to this antique shop before, and because we sold the house, we also sold my old rocking chair, and my spirit guide knew how much I loved my old rocking chair, and he told me there was a new one at this antique shop. So lo and behold, I went that day, and I asked the woman there if she had any rocking chairs, and she said, "No, we do not. I'm sorry, we don't have any rocking chairs." And she just took me to look around, had some other things for the new house. We went to this back part of the antique store, and what was there, what was sitting right there, she went wide-eyed, was this rocking chair. Yes, I was baffled that she said there was no rocking chairs, and I was so sure as a psychic medium that my guide told me, showed me clear vision that there was, and there was. And of course, I bought the chair and ended up starting my channel with the chair. And I'm glad to have it back. So that's the story of the spirit chair. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I want my channel to be really available to all types of very old ancient souls. So for those of you who are on a path that's very spiritual, spiritually awakened, spiritually awakening, discovering your abilities, discovering your twin flame, discovering that there's so much more to you, to your origins, your star seed. I want this channel to really be available to everyone. Yes, I'm really into the supernatural. I'm really into my magical path. As a white witch, I'm also considered a Wiccan. That's, so Wicca, white witch. I also was a druid in another lifetime. Hence this guy up here that I love. And I know a lot of you can relate to this. And this is what this video really is going to be about. And I think that the video is really timely for a lot of people, because a lot of people who I do readings for are really concerned about what their mission is. What is my life purpose? So as a medium, as also a high-level channeler, I sit with someone's team, their angels, their star races, their guides, their helpers. Especially I have a very close relationship with Archangel Michael. And they bring forth information, detailed information about someone's life purpose. And there's a way of really recognizing what you're meant to do, or at least getting a good sense of it, even if you're not sure of the details. So that's why I created this video, Awakening the Magician, 7 Signs or Purposes Based on Ancient Magic. Because so many of you who are watching the channel are ancient souls, you are starseeds, you are angelics, you are the magicians of old. Yes, all of it is relevant. This is all white magic, divine alchemy. And I just wanted to break down those 7 ways to really recognize, your purpose. And of course, for going into really deep details, we can certainly do a personal reading, and you can find information in the description below, my website, and how to book a reading with me. But let's get into these 7 ways, shall we? So the first way, you have always felt very different, okay? Now, How many of you watching this video can say you felt very, very different growing up? You were maybe lost in your own world, in your own imaginary world when you were younger. Maybe you were staring out the window or staring off at the sun, not directly the sun, but staring off, like say, and at the sunset, right? Or staring off into a tree with its leaves. Maybe you were seeing the colors on the leaves, the aura off the leaves, and you just got lost. You just got lost in these other worlds. Okay, that's a sign. That's a sign that you're very different. That's a sign that you're an old soul. That's a sign that you are an ancient soul. And you know, sometimes, you know, you've probably been told by many people, maybe even your parents or perhaps your friends, you know, wake up and join the real world, right? But the thing is, you were tapping into very real worlds, just other realities. So that's definitely a sign there, okay? So some things to think about: how you grew up, how you were, how you functioned, how that was different, and it's a good indicator, okay, that your true purpose is based on ancient magic. Number 2, you have never felt comfortable with the conventional or organized religion. Yes, this is definitely one, okay, for so many of us, depending on where we were brought up, depending on what kind of a family. You know, there was religion, there was organized religion, and I'm not here to put any religion down or anything like that. Whatever works for someone, and if it brings them joy, if it brings them benefits, then that's the way, right? You got to follow your heart. But for a lot of ancient souls, especially if you're an ancient magician, starseed magician, divine alchemist, the organized structure doesn't work for you. You feel stifled in it, okay? Too much of that rigidity in there. Perhaps there's been religious guilt, right? Perhaps you grew up in a family where there was very strict religion, very strict practices, very strict beliefs, and there's been religious guilt about things, right? Maybe you're just not resonating with that. And the conventional ways of society, not conforming to society, not wanting to conform, right? Not being in agreement with a lot of conventional society. You know, that's all really strong indicators that you're a different type of soul. You march to an older drummer beat, okay? And it's saying that there's more out there for you. For you personally, there is a spiritual path that's best suited for you. One that is going to speak to your heart, one that doesn't have the structures, one that doesn't have the dogma associated to it, one that doesn't have that guilt, if that is what your experience was of that religion. And so, some things to think about, okay? You have to really do what speaks to you and to be your authentic soul, right? And that's what your purpose is based on, your authentic soul. Number 3, you have always had a draw to ancient lands, ancient people. So for many of you who have had magical origins, you've had lifetimes in Egypt. Perhaps some of you were druids. Love that guy behind me. I have been a druid before. I've also been Egyptian. So many of you maybe have loved watching the documentaries on Egypt, right? On the ancient gods, on mummification, and all that sort of thing. You've been drawn to those ancient people, drawn to the stories of the Mayans, drawn to the Native Americans, right? And the ceremony and all of that. And just having that draw there tells you that you have a connection, you have a soul connection, and that you more than likely have been there before, you've lived there before. That's really you. So that's something to really think about when really asking yourself, what is my purpose? My 9-to-5 job is driving me crazy. I can't take it. I am being strangled with it. This is not where my heart lies. Well, it's really about what have you been drawn to? What have been your tendencies when growing up? You know, there's a lot of clues there. Number 4, you've always had a draw to the elements, crystals, plant medicine, animal kingdom, fairies, taking care of the earth, perhaps eating organically, or trying to take care of the earth, care about the earth, but you've been drawn to the earth. Perhaps you've always been drawn to like oils, incenses, and this has been something maybe people called you a hippie or whatever it was. Oh, that's hippie stuff or new age stuff. But you've always had a liking, right? You always took a liking to that kind of thing. And that's also an indicator that you have been that, you are really that. So let's just talk about, I just want to just draw another example there of ancient lands, like ancient civilizations. This goes hand in hand with crystals. With Atlantean civilization, Lemurian civilization, those are ancient civilizations, right? And the crystals, right? The quartz crystals, the record keepers, the crystal temples and things like that. So many of you have worked with crystals before, have programmed them, have worked with them for healing. Same thing with plant medicine as well. But these are the types of things, that are a part of that ancient soul, also following the seasons, being very strongly connected to the seasons and how they affect you. And watching the signs in nature is another thing, right? Watching the animals, watching as they gather, or watching as that fertility season comes, and paying attention to how you're feeling at that time too. So you're linking yourself with nature. You're understanding you are a part of nature. So that's a really big one. Number 4 is having that draw to the earth, to the elements. Number 5, you were always drawn to the cosmic. So the cosmic, the moon cycles, okay, and of course we know the moon cycles have such an effect on us. Right? We have the waxing moon and bringing to us. We have the new moon, new beginnings, right? But the waning moon is all about banishing or removing. So the moon cycles do have an effect. The sun, the solar energies, the solstices, paying attention to that, having an interest in how the solar energies and the lunar energies affect you, how they affect the planet, interest in the planetary alignments, the astrology, the astronomy, also interest in the angelics, the angelic realms, right? Angel communication, angels, wanting to learn about angels and cosmic energies in that way. So number 5, yeah, that certainly is an indicator there that, all of this, again, has so much to do with who you truly are. Number 6, you were always drawn to the supernatural or paranormal. I think you can tell that that's me, but I have all of the rest of these as well. So drawn to the movies, drawn to the shows, drawn to the stories, been fascinated by any of that, fascinated by the occult, all of these sorts of things. Even had your own paranormal experiences where maybe you have drawn in the paranormal and every house you live in seems to have a haunting attached to it, or you've always somehow seen an apparition or heard an apparition or something that went, creak in the night. Maybe you've seen your grandparents, something, maybe you always find feathers or signs from the other world. And you've always had that interest and you've always had that awareness of the supernatural and the paranormal. This is a really important one too, okay? And number 7, magical 7, you have had experiences that could only be explained as psychic phenomena, okay? And this is going to bring us into a lot of the purpose. So things like precognitive dreams, vivid dreams, visions, hearing voices, picking up on other thoughts, people's thoughts. Many of you are very strong empaths, so having that empathic ability. Some of you have that astral travel, have the ability to come out of your body very easily. Remote travel, remote viewing, channeling, mediumship, all of these different things. And, for many of you, you're not really sure how to work with it. You're not sure if you can trust it. It's still about the discovering part for you before you can become confident in sharing that as a purpose. But this is there. And, with these 7 things, so when I do readings for people and we connect with their teams, it's interesting. We put all of these things together. So a lot of times, I can't control a reading, of course, as a medium, as a channeler, I can't control a reading. But I love when someone's team takes me through where they come from, why they have always felt the way they felt, why they felt out of place, drawing attention to the things that were passions for them, but they put it down or put it aside because they had to do what they just had to do, right? To pay the bills or to, fit into conventional society, to make the family happy, whatever the reasons would be why they would have to stick to the matrix or the 3D reality. And the thing is, with your purpose, it's all about being very passionate about what you're doing and being excited about what you're doing. And for so many of you, a lot of the things that we're talking about, even like things like oils and things like crystals, and those of you are, so many of you are healers. So we're talking about the ancient people. We're talking about, like, say, Native Americans, for example, and shamans. So many of you are shamans. Not only were you shamans, but you still are shamans. So you have all of that innate knowledge and ability, but it's really about unlocking it, being able to work with it, and then beginning to trust it. But for so many of you, it might be as simple as just all of a sudden you felt the draw to, say, taking a Reiki class, right? That was me. Maybe some of you were just like, I just feel like I want to take a class on natural medicine or something like that. Or some of you are drawn to the therapeutics, so maybe you just feel like, oh my gosh, I always felt like I wanted to be someone who would guide people, or more of a life coach, or someone that could be an advisor. And perhaps you've been an advisor to your tribe. Maybe you were the wise woman that lived in the village, the witch, right? Wisdom, integrity, truth, courage, honor, witch. The signs are all here. I think these 7 signs really do give a lot to go on. And so many of you are now having these abilities wake up within you. Your healing abilities, your psychic abilities, your draw to the supernatural, your draw to the paranormal. The fact is that you were that druid on the land. You were that shaman of the tribe, that medicine man, that medicine woman. You knew how to work with plants. You knew their properties. You knew that they could be worked to heal or to transform and bring divine positive power. And it's just relearning it. It's just remembering who you are as an ancient soul. And then it's the steps. It's the steps of, okay, rediscovering it. Let me work with it. Let me begin trusting it. And then it's going to be about stepping out and how do we put everything together where we can form a business, right? A business that you actually love, that you're passionate about, and that's authentically you as a soul. All very, very, very important, okay? So many of you have abilities that are absolutely, they're extraordinary, and you don't realize it yet. Perhaps there's some more healing that needs to be done. Maybe there's some blockages there that need to be cleared before you can have some more of these abilities emerge up. And I'm here for that too. Within our readings, we go into the blockages, what might be stopping you, maybe there's child trauma there, maybe there's just some ego patterns and thought patterns that are there, perhaps it's bloodline stuff, perhaps it's even stuff from other lifetimes where it's blockages. All of this is all very relevant and tied together. But this video was just some ways of understanding the 7 signs. Your purpose is based on ancient magic, and it's beautiful that we're having the magician come back now. It's beautiful that we are experiencing so much of ourselves. It's beautiful that so many of you are going to be making that transition into something that you really are so happy about, that brings you so much joy, and that's going to help people to heal. It's going to benefit people in such a gorgeous way. And for those of you who have started your purpose, there's going to be so much expansion involved too. Like, how do you grow your business? What kinds of ideas? What insights are you getting? You know, how can you make things better? Is it time to make things better? Broaden things. Broaden your influence. We bring in more tools into your tool chest. Things that have been ancient that you haven't discovered yet, right? So I hope this video was helpful, and I'm so glad to see all of you here. I hope that you love my altar in the back here. I know I definitely do, and I'm glad to have the spirit chair back. And if you would like to have a personal reading with me, I also offer light language services, and I also do spirit extractions, which is a high consciousness kind of paranormal remote work. I do check in with my team to make sure that I'm a vibrational match with someone before I say yes to services. But the way to go about it is to contact me on my contact page on theparanormalpriestess.com. You can also find me on social media, on Twitter and Facebook. So all of that information is below, and I would love to be able to meet more of you. And for those of you who I've been working with for years, and you've been loyal clients, I really am so grateful. I've got to really see you grow in enormous ways. And it really just, there's really no words. It's amazing. You know, the things that maybe you thought you couldn't do, or you couldn't get through the dark night of the soul, you couldn't get through obstacles in your life, and you did. And now you're more empowered than ever and feeling better than ever. You know, it's just a constant growth that we're going through, and I know so much of this is so very accelerated, but I'm so proud of my clients. It's an honor working with you, and I'd love to meet more of you. And if you know anyone that could really use a reading that's very detailed, that we cover everything, I even give support material after the reading. I also do healings and clearings, all of that. If you know anyone, they don't have to just be twin flames. You know, it could be someone that's just spiritually awakening now, or has been awakened, and maybe they're at a crossroads, a roadblock in their life. You can pass my information along. I pass the channel along. I would love to be able to help more people. So thank you so much for visiting, and remember, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Brightest blessings, everyone, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.